Guess what? It's English story time. I'm sorry for doing them in Spanish last time, but now I'm gonna repeat that first one in English. You're gonna see how the same clothes as my next Spanish one, but I wanted to do this for you guys, and here we go. Okay, I gotta try and remember where I started it in Spanish so I can start it in English so I don't forget anything that I told you guys. Oh, I probably won't forget. I just need to know where I started so I know how this one goes. So let me check. Hold on. I put a YouTube instead of YouTube. I just gotta see where it starts so I can see where I go with you guys, okay? Okay, this is from when I was little. Esto es de cuando yo, oh, why am I saying in Spanish? It's English videos. Sorry, that's a habit. Yeah. So, when I was little, I would spend a lot of time in Mexico. My dad was a pastor and my mom worked in something about soldering, and her turn was at night. So, I don't know. And then they did also like seminars, like Christian seminars, because she was a Sunday school teacher, so they would go travel a lot to do the seminars. So we would spend a lot of summers with my grandmas. I think it's my son. They would spend I would spend a lot of summertime with at my grandma's, sometimes in Sinaloa, sometimes in Sonora with my mom's mom. So when I was little, I remember I would play. Let me tell you how my grandma's house laid out. It was two houses, one on this side and one on this side, and between them was the garage. The small house was usually a store. Once my grandma got older, it became her house with the store. Like the back of it was her little house, and then the front was a store. Meanwhile, the back was a storage area. At this point, the back was a storage area, the front was a store. As I remember, it would change a lot because they had an extra room that used to belong to somebody in the family that would sometimes be the store, sometimes it would be a paper shop. It changed a lot, but that room was hardly ever occupied. I didn't know why. Yeah. On the big house, it would be the porch, that room that was never occupied with the window towards the street. Those were like kind of combined. And then towards the back, it was the living room. And then the next room, which is where we usually stayed when we stayed, it was my uncle's room. And then besides that room was my grandma's and my grandpa's room, which I never liked. I always thought the children in that room. And then over here it was the living room that was connected to the following room. Then the bathroom, a little hallway where the bathroom was, and then the kitchen, which was really big, that connected to their room. That house, you could literally go in circles. There was doors. There was a door for every room except for that room in the front. For some reason they didn't connect that one, but the two other bedrooms connected through a door. And then there was a door to that room, and then the door to the kitchen, and then from this room there was a door to the living room. It was like you could literally go in circles except for that room. So one night I was oh, this was when I was little. Sorry, it was maybe, I think they said I was maybe 4 or 5. I'm not sure what age I was. I was little, maybe 3 or 4, 4 or 5, around there. So I was playing in the living room. My grandma was always in the kitchen cooking. You know, old school grandma's always cooking some yummy food. So she was in the kitchen cooking. I was in the living room. Now in the living room there was an entrance through here, but that was always with lock and key, and then one towards the porch, and then there was another entrance in the kitchen. My grandpa made that house, so I don't know what he was thinking. Sorry grandpa, rest in peace. The front, there was another front door that led directly to the porch, and the porch was not completely shut down. You could go out to the porch to the side to the garage, which was also locked with a key to bring in the cars. There was a metal rail. And then the front of the porch had like arch rails, and one of the arch rails was actually a door, and you had to walk up the stairs to the arch rail, and it was just a latch. Well, during the day it was just a latch, because some people would come in. If they wanted to visit, they'd come in through that latch, when at night they would lock it. But the door from the living room to the porch had a little latch, and of course I couldn't leave. But I was always trying to get out the door because I always saw a princess with long red nails, with no eyes, long beautiful hair, and curls kind of like this, like the curls. It was straight hair and only the tips were curled, kind of like back in the 60s, 70s. So she would always be coming. I was trying to get out the door. My grandma would be like, "What do you want, mija? What's wrong?" I'm like, "I want to go play with the pretty girl, with the princess. I want to go play with her." My grandma would look over and she's like, "There's nobody there." I'm like, "Yes, there is. She's right there." She goes, "No, come on." She was distracting me. So this was constant. One of the times my grandma forgot to put the latch on the door and she caught me on the thing. Keep in mind, I forgot to tell you, she was across the street. She wasn't in front of the porch. She was across the street. So if I were to leave, I probably would have gotten hit by a car. People in Mexico drive like crazy. I love my Mexican people, but we drive like crazy in Mexico. I don't drive in Mexico. That's enough said. I don't drive at all. So I would have gotten hit by a car. One of the times, like I said, I did leave. My grandma caught me barely, and she goes, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "The lady wants. I want to play with the lady that's calling me with the long nails." She goes, "What lady?" I'm like, "She's wearing a princess dress." My grandma went pale. I go, "She's wearing a princess dress with a crown and the princess veil." Because to me, she looked like princess. And she's like, she just went pale. She didn't say anything. I don't know if this is connected or not to everything else. I remember around that time I was seeing my aunt, maybe a little older, maybe 6 or 7, 8, I don't know, 9, I don't know, around there. I remember we went to a funeral. My dad was a pastor, so we got invited. Well, we didn't get invited like it was a party, but we attended a lot of funerals, and we were there. And I remember, to me, I called cemeteries parks. I was at the park. So we were at the park. And I remember seeing a casket was raised really high. For me, it looked really, really high. I think it was maybe like chest height for everybody else. For me, it was like way up there. So it was a little white coffin, and I remember everybody crying and everything, and I'm just looking at them like, why are they crying? Because I was seeing this little boy sitting down in a white tux with a white bow and a red rose or carnation, something right here. He was really fair skinned, dark hair. He was sitting there talking to me, and I'm talking to him. I'm like, why is everybody crying? And he was like, you know, but we were both confused. Apparently he wasn't alive. He was dead, because it was a coffin, and it was a also a funeral. But yeah, I remember seeing that, and I was talking to my dad the other day. He goes, "Yeah, I remember you claiming you would talk to a boy." We lived at the church, so there was a house behind the church, and she says I was always up at night talking to my little friend, and he remembers I was mentioning a little boy's name. I don't remember it now, but he says my uncle Alex would really, really get scared because I'd be talking to myself in the dark, and then my face was so light in the dark, I would scare the bajonkas out of him. So yeah, that continued happening a lot. Once I was a little older, maybe 9, 10, I was 9 through 11, around there. I'm randomly giving you ages. I don't know exactly when this happened. I do remember it happening. I just don't know when. I think we were spending Christmas there. I want to say Christmas because that's usually when we all were there, including my dad. And in that middle room was a full-size bed or a queen-size bed, and then next to the full-size bed was a bunk bed. My uncle would sleep on the top bunk. My sister would sleep on the bottom bunk. My mom and dad on the big bed. And we had the those skinny fold-out beds, and I would sleep between the bunk bed and my mom's bed, which was on my mom's side and next to my sister. Before we went to bed, we heard clearly my grandma say, my sisters, they used to call her Kunichi. She's like, Kunichi, go to bed. And my mom's like, she's already in bed, she's been asleep. Because my grandma would go, you know, parents would go to sleep a little later or whatever. And my grandma just stayed quiet. She didn't say nothing else. But she had clearly seen a white nightgown, and someone passed by her room, and she was telling her to go to bed. And my mom, like, then she goes, she told my mom she's already in bed, and my grandma didn't say nothing. My mom was like, why? She was like, no, I must have just seen things or something, but she didn't say nothing. So we go to bed, we go to sleep. You know, sometimes you wake up at night because, I don't know, I woke up at night for a reason. Or I couldn't sleep. I think I couldn't sleep. And I was tossing and turning, like you kind of sleep but you're not, and you toss and turn and whatever. And I kind of felt someone looking at me, and I looked to the side where my dad was, and there was my sister, like with one knee on the bed holding the post, you know, those Mexican wooden beds. And she's looking at my dad like that, but I'm like, why are you up? Go to bed. And then I turn around, and on my bed, I didn't say this to her, I was in my head, you know. And I turn around, and on bed I see those nightgowns with like the little bow right here with the lace, long sleeves, long hair, and just sleeping peacefully and whatnot. And then I turn around again. This happened like in a few seconds. I turn around again to where I had saw my sister, and there's the girl with the nice nightgown looking at my dad with no eyes. Kind of looked like the same person, but probably didn't remember her because I was a little older. I don't know. I didn't connect it. It scared me. Turned back onto the bed. My sister's sleeping. Covered my head until the morning. I didn't sleep. Every little noise I heard would scare me. I was sweating bullets under that blanket, but I did not uncover my head. And not only that, but I turned upside down and I covered my head. You know, when you're scared and you... So later on, when I was around between 14 and 16. I really need to look up the dates because I don't remember. My sister was living at the house with her then boyfriend. She already had her other kids, her older kids, her first two. And we didn't get along or whatnot. And I remember we were arguing about something, and I remember seeing that same girl, or she was a young girl, teenage years. I could recognize that now as I was older because I was more conscious of stuff. She like was trying to lift the black and white TV we had. I don't know if she lifted it or I saw it lift. I was like in shock, and I'm just looking at him yelling at me, but I'm in shock because of what I'm seeing behind him. And she's doing this, and I'm like, and he's yelling at me, and I don't know exactly what happened. I'm trying to remember. I know my sister was arguing, and she just told me to go to my room. She was trying to calm him down. I don't remember. She was trying to defend me. I feel like she was trying to defend me, but still, you see that at an older age, you're just like, you're more scared than when you were a kid. And I went to my room. This I don't know. This part I don't explain why it would have happened, but I went to my room, and my sister, like I said, this was a trailer we lived in. When you walk any little step, you could hear either a creak or a bump or something when someone's walking. I had gone to my room where I slept with Mom, which was the last room way at the end. And you know the doors and trailers are really, really fragile, so any little thing they break. At that time, we used pagers. We didn't have cell phones, we had pagers to communicate with our friends. So I had left my pager on the table because my sister was just trying to get me out of there. All of a sudden I hear boom at the door. I'm like, what the heck? And I open the door to snap, and there's nobody there. And then I look down, and the pager sunk into my door. Maybe she was trying to give it back to me, I don't know. And she couldn't open the door, I don't know. Oh my god, chills, look at that. Oh my god. Yeah, and I told my sister, who threw this at me? She goes, threw what? I'm like, the pager. She goes, the pager's at the tape. Yeah. And she goes, nobody, we've been here the whole time. She goes, oh no, here's your friends visiting you again. I forgot to say that in Spanish, I think, but yeah. She was like, oh, there's your friends. She would freak out, but she would joke about it. But yeah, that was some of the stuff that happened to me when I was growing up, when I was little. So I hope, so this girl I've been seeing all my life or whatnot. Later on in life, I found out that I had an aunt that died when she was 19. I'm not gonna tell you guys how she died because I have family that watches this. And she passed away. She got to pass away at 19. So she was buried in she was about to get married, so she got buried in my mom's wedding dress. My mom's veil was a crown, and well, the headpiece was a crown with a veil coming down. My aunt had long hair and they had curled the tips, and her nails were painted red because that was her favorite color to have on her nails. She was also an organ donor, which is why I wouldn't see the eyes on her. So that was who I was seeing my whole life. Of course, when I was little, it terrified me because I didn't know any better. I just knew that what I was watching wasn't real. Also, because you know, you're little kids, you watch like all these Halloween movies and whatnot, and it scares you. It scares you to see these things that you see on TV that are terrifying. So yeah, that's who I was seeing all my life. I haven't seen her as of lately, but I do feel stuff around. She does play jokes on us when we were in Mexico. She'd be playing jokes on us all the time. So yeah, that's who I was seeing. So yeah, that she would ask me to cross the street because she was really, really jealous, and they actually named me after her. My name is her name. So they think that's why she would ask me to cross the street, because she was a really jealous person. Also, I was conceived to take my grandma out of depression. She died in December 1977. I was born in December 1978. Yes, I'm old, I know. Then I had a daughter, which I named Lourdes, which is my aunt's middle name. Like my middle name is Rosa Lourdes. So hers is Lourdes, and she was born on her birthday, which is kind of creepy, huh? And they say I look so much like her as well. So my grandma would sometimes call me her because I look so much. Her nickname was Millie, so she would call me Millie. I hope you ladies like this video. I hope you like this paranormal scary time, story time, whatever you want to call it. Don't forget to hit the like so I could give you the next story. Get me to 25 likes, and I'll do the next one in English as well. Thanks for watching again. Hugs, kisses, and squeezes. I love you bunches. God bless you bunches. And I'll leave some links at the end, suggested videos if you would like to watch. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button somewhere down here, and activate the little bell also somewhere down here. I will leave channels up here somewhere at the end of the video, so you could go subscribe to both of these channels. I have a family channel and I have this nail channel, and I'll put 2 videos around here at the end of the video to suggest to you, so you guys can go watch some more of my content. Don't forget to share if you like these paranormal stories. Don't forget to share it to a friend who likes them. So yeah, hugs, kisses, and squeezes. I'll see you in the next one. Oops, there I go in Spanish again. It's just a habit. I'm sorry. I love you.